You ever sit in a school gym, just trying to hold it together for your kid's big day, and end up watching the whole world stop spinning for a moment because of you? Let me back up a sec, because nobody wakes up thinking, today, 10 Navy SEALs might rise up in my defense while the whole town looks on. But that's exactly what happened to Elizabeth Stones, a woman who's seen enough chaos in her life to know the difference between real danger and everyday nonsense. But nothing quite prepared her for the kind of battle that comes not with bullets, but with stares, suspicion, and two guys in cheap suits who thought a mother in uniform was somehow out of place. It was one of those heavy Louisiana mornings, humidity sticking to your skin, sun already bright by 8 a.m. Elizabeth parked her old sedan at the edge of Braveheart's High, taking a breath before stepping out in her dress navy uniform, the emblems of service and sacrifice stitched across her shoulders. She hadn't worn them for recognition, she wore them because she'd promised herself, after all those years overseas missing birthdays and Christmases and science fairs, that she would show up for this. No matter what. Today was about her son, Pascal, the kind of kid you only hope to raise, valedictorian, athlete, dreamer. It was his turn to walk the stage, and nothing, absolutely nothing, was going to keep her from seeing it. Inside, it was classic small-town graduation chaos. Balloons tangled in rafters, parents jostling for seats, teachers trying to keep a lid on the excitement. Elizabeth walked up to the VIP section, family ticket in hand, and the volunteer at the rope just nodded her through. No fuss. But you know how people are, especially when they see something or someone they're not used to. The whispers started, quick and sharp. Is she faculty? Is she supposed to be here? Why is she alone? Elizabeth felt every glance, every judgment, but she kept her eyes forward. She'd stared down far worse than bored suburban gossip, and right now, all she cared about was seeing her son take that diploma. But then the guards showed up, two men, crisp haircuts, mirrored sunglasses, yes, indoors, moving like they'd rehearsed the whole thing. One leaned in, voice low but clipped, "Ma'am, this section's reserved." She handed him her pass, steady hands, no apology in her posture. He looked it over, not even bothering to hide the skepticism. Doesn't look like the usual family ticket. She met his eyes, not backing down for a second. It's a VIP family pass. I'm Pascal Stone's mother. The second guy piped up, all disbelief and something else, something about her skin, her uniform, her confidence that didn't fit their little boxes. You're not on my list. And you're not in formal wear. The kind of line you hear a lot if you've ever worn the wrong thing, looked the wrong way, or just dared to be different in the wrong place. But Elizabeth, she didn't flinch. She just said, I'm not here to impress you. I'm here for my son. That's it. That's the line. There's a stillness when real strength pushes back, like the air goes thin and people start paying attention. The guard tried again. We're going to need you to move. And she said it louder, for the whole row to hear. I'm not moving. Silence. Like the moment before a thunderstorm. Then it happened, out of nowhere. 10 men stood up, scattered all across the gym. Some in the bleachers, some along the walls, each moving in that particular way you only learn in combat. Efficient, silent, absolutely certain. They made their way forward, stopping behind Elizabeth like a living shield. These weren't just any men. These were Navy SEALs, brothers in arms she'd patched up, pulled back from the brink, maybe even saved. Ortiz, Marsh, Walker, all those names from a life lived on the razor's edge. No need for words, no explanations, they just stood, silent and immovable, and for a second the guards looked like they wanted to disappear. Elizabeth glanced up at the guards and said, "You still need me to move?" That was it. Nobody had to say a thing. The guards backed off, radio lowered, bravado gone. The gym got so quiet you could hear a balloon pop 2 rows back, all the sound sucked out by the weight of that moment. Parents straightened up, teachers traded looks, kids started recording on their phones. You could feel it, something real, something you'd tell your grandkids about. Right then, the principal's voice cracked over the PA, "Please welcome our valedictorian, Pascal Stones." The crowd erupted, but nothing could compete with the slow, thunderous clap from those 10 men, hands in perfect unison, like boots on gravel, setting a rhythm the whole room unconsciously followed. Suddenly, every cheer, every camera flash, it all fell into step with them. Pascal walked out from behind the curtains, tall and calm, The kind of calm you get when you know exactly who you are and who's watching your back. Gold cords draped across his robe, the tassel swaying with every stride. He spotted his mom, her in the front row, back straight, eyes steady, those 10 men behind her, and something shifted in his face. Not nerves, not even pride. Just that overwhelming sense of seeing all the sacrifices add up in one instant. He walked across the stage, shook the principal's hand, but before he could bask in applause, he turned and bowed to his mother. Not to the crowd, not to the cameras, just to her. A son's salute, quiet and true. You could feel hearts breaking open all around the gym, people blinking back tears they didn't see coming. The ceremony ended, the chaos spilled out into the parking lot. But under a big old oak tree near the edge of the lot, Elizabeth stood alone. Uniform still perfect, sun painting gold across her shoulders. The 10 seals lingered behind her, a semicircle of silent respect, no formation, no orders, just presence. Pascal approached, diploma under his arm, cap in his hand. He stopped, just looking at her, and the whole world fell away, just the two of them in a space outside time. He hugged her, hard, all those years of distance and longing breaking in a single embrace. "You didn't just show up, Mom," he whispered. "You showed me how to stand." Elizabeth cupped his face, brushing a tear away with her thumb, and for a moment, she was both a soldier and a mother, all steel and gentleness at once. "Strength isn't about volume," she said. "It's about knowing when to stay grounded." Around them, people watched with new eyes. The woman who once seemed out of place had become the pillar holding the moment together. Later, at home, the medals came off, the uniform replaced with a cardigan, but the dignity stayed. Pascal sat on the floor, paging through an old album, photos of field hospitals, sandstorms, faces caught between fear and hope. "You never showed me these before," he said. "You were too young to understand." He nodded, tracing the edge of a picture, and something in him settled. He saw his mother, not just as the woman who packed his lunches, but as the warrior who'd shaped his life. "I didn't just graduate today," he said, voice steady. "I inherited something." She smiled, the quiet kind of pride that doesn't need to be shouted. "Now carry it well." And the world went on sunrise, coffee on the porch, the hum of life picking up again. But that morning, 10 men returned in street clothes, faces marked by the miles, and stood in a line at the foot of her porch. No words, just a simple salute, a folded note that read, "You didn't save our lives. You shaped them." Elizabeth held that note, letting the tears fall. No shame, just gratitude and release. Because legacy isn't carved on medals or trumpeted in speeches. It's written in quiet moments, in the way people stand for each other when nobody's watching. Real strength doesn't shout, it stands. And so did she. So what did this story mean to you? Did you see yourself in Elizabeth or Pascal, or in the men who rose in silent unity? Tell us where you're watching from. Share your thoughts in the comments, because sometimes the best way to honor strength is to let it echo, quietly but powerfully, in the stories we share.